This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Breaking news tonight, a slew of Haitian nationals are in custody after being apprehended in Bahamian waters.
The HMBS Arthur Hanna was a part of the action, apprehending 124 migrants off Ragged Island.
Our Jared Higgs was on the scene.
The Royal Bahamas Defense Force captured more than 100 Haitian migrants off of Exuma. The migrants were apprehended this morning, with more set to arrive in the capital. Senior Lieutenant Ricardo Barry.
We presently have 80 persons here at Coral Harbour Base, and we expect a little more than what was initially reported.
Senior Lieutenant Barry also confirmed that shortly before 8 p.m. on Tuesday evening, Defense Force officers on the HMBS Arthur Hanna captured 124 migrants off of Ragged Island.
100 males, 16 females, 8 children.
Officers are being sure to keep some distance between the media and the migrants, as there are some fears that some of those migrants may be some of those escaped prisoners. Senior Lieutenant Barry could not confirm if any of the Haitians could be some of those who escaped from a Port-au-Prince jail last week.
We have no confirmation on that. It is a big concern for us, and it's something that we're mindful of.
Now those 124 migrants found off of Ragged Island will arrive at the Prince George Wharf in the early morning hours. Jared Higgs, ZNS Network News.
Also tonight, after a lengthy selection process, officials from the College of the Bahamas, Ministry of Education and Cabinet have confirmed a new president of the College of the Bahamas, soon to be University of the Bahamas. Dr. Rodney Smith will assume the top post at the country's premier institution, effective immediately. And as LaDon Davis tells us, COBUS, education officials and other stakeholders are confident that Dr. Smith will take the College of the Bahamas to the next level.
Mid-June of this year, I received a recommendation from the COB Council that Dr. Rodney Smith be appointed the new president of the College of the Bahamas.
And the decision to appoint Dr. Rodney Smith as the new president of the College of the Bahamas did not come easy for Education Minister Tyrone Fitzgerald, who said that several consultations were made with UTAB, COBUS, COB alumni, and the Public Service Union before handing over his recommendation to Cabinet.
The second stakeholder was the wider community. Here, the views differed, and in some cases, they were very strong. The views fell essentially into 3 categories. Those who supported and thought that Dr. Smith should be given a second chance. Those who thought that once he showed contrition, he should be forgiven for a mistake he committed over 9 years ago. And then there were those who thought that it was a cardinal sin in academia and he should not be appointed.
With thousands of students pursuing studies at the College of the Bahamas, immediate past president of COBUS, Alphonso says the selection process has been a long time coming for students, but says they are excited about the appointment.
The 2013-2014 academic year was centered around this entire process of bringing in someone that indeed understood the culture of the College of the Bahamas.
President of UTAB, Mark Humes, not only applauded the other candidates for offering themselves up for the presidency post, but also thanked the Minister of Education for moving swiftly to appoint a new president before the start of a new academic term.
The year that we've been in this process, and I'm glad to see us arrive at this point where we now have resolution and can move forward. We as the Union of Tertiary Educators are looking forward to this new era at the College of the Bahamas. We anticipate the full support of the faculty members at the college behind this new leadership.
Now, while the new college's president's contract does not exceed more than 3 years, Minister of Education Tyrone Fitzgerald is strongly encouraging Bahamians to move on and support the college as it transitions to university status. LaDon Davis, ZNS Network News.
With about 2 weeks left before the start of the new academic year, 200 new teachers have been hired to help fill vacancies within the Ministry of Education.
Now, the majority of the new hires are recent graduates of the College of the Bahamas and will join over 4,000 others already in classrooms come September. A total of 74 teachers will be deployed to the Family Islands. At an orientation exercise for newly appointed teachers this morning, Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald called on educators to adopt a mindset that will help attain the kind of results desired in national examinations. He also called for accountability.
You are entering at a time when we are challenged with the reality that 50% of our students in our public schools do not graduate and leave school after 12 years with only an attendance certificate. I told our school administrators 2 days ago, and I'm telling you today, that this, quite frankly, is unacceptable. Our country cannot afford, either socially or financially, for half of the public school students to leave school without a graduation diploma. Now, today, I'm calling for accountability from you. Accountability for imparting knowledge to students that instills values and develops their critical thinking and technical skills.
Well, teachers will spend the next 2 days in orientation, and Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson reminded teachers that they've entered the educational system at a time when classes are overcrowded, when students are facing many social ills, and when parental involvement is almost non-existent.
You will have challenges. Don't mind all the smiles today. Don't mind the flowery speeches and promises. You will have challenges. And in fact, there will be times when you would wonder whether you made the right decision. As we seek to improve the academic performance of our students, we need you. As we mold strong, well-rounded citizens, we need you. As we build our community, as we develop a nation, we need you.
With repeated clashes between government and members of the BUT, the 2013-2014 academic year may be considered one of the most difficult years for the public school system in recent times. It was a year that saw many protests, withdrawals of labor, and at times even became physical.
But as the 2014-2015 school year begins, Union President Wilson says she's optimistic that this year won't be a repeat.
So the court has been the equalizer, and I believe going forward, beginning as early as this week, we should not have any concerns accessing school campuses and being able to communicate with the principals as to the times that we should have our meetings and be able to have our meetings and communicate to our members effectively. So we hope that this year will be much more smoother than it was last year. I believe that with the appointment of one or two new individuals who may be more open to the real partnership that the union has with the employer, we should be able to run much more smoother this year.
Now, a major bone of contention has been millions of dollars in back pay owed to teachers. Wilson says so far about $1.5 million has been paid.
There's still about 1.4 million that is still owing. And when we talk about that amount of money, it's not a loan, it's not a gift. It is funds that teachers have already worked for. It's their salaries. So we're hoping that within this fiscal period that all of the outstanding back pay for teachers will be paid.
Academic assessors will also be assigned to the public school system when school opens this September, but there has been some concerns from guidance counselors on exactly what role they will play. Presently, guidance counselors are tasked with monitoring academic progress and achievement. Minister of Education Jerome Fitzgerald told ZNS News that the assessors will gather relevant data on student achievement.
Well, first of all, we don't have sufficient guidance counselors in the school system, and so I don't expect guidance counselors to have any complaints at any assistance they can get. But this is not really to do the job of a guidance counselor. This is really to do the job of finding the right formula for the intervention for these kids who are falling through the cracks and not performing at the academic standard that we think. And we've just taken the decision that we're going to just not continue this social promotion without intervention any longer. And so that is really what it's about. It has nothing really to do with the job of a guidance counselor. These persons are not qualified for that job. But there is a shortage of guidance counselors within our system.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.